Our thoughts hold a level of influence that most people never fully grasp. Every single day, we think tens of thousands of thoughts, and most of them happen automatically. These thoughts form our inner narrative, the constant mental commentary that accompanies us through every moment of life. What's important to understand is that this inner dialogue is not neutral. It has power. In fact, it shapes our perceptions, behaviors, emotions, and even our physical health. The belief systems we form through repeated thought patterns become the lenses through which we interpret the world, and they ultimately become self-fulfilling prophecies. For instance, consider someone who constantly thinks, "I'm not good enough." Whether it's about their work, relationships, or appearance, this belief, repeated day after day, becomes embedded in their subconscious. Over time, this thought begins to influence their behavior. They might avoid challenges, sabotage opportunities, or tolerate poor treatment from others, not because it is inevitable, but because their thoughts have conditioned them to believe they are undeserving of better. In this way, the mind constructs a reality that reflects its internal programming. What is fascinating is that this mechanism works in both negative and positive directions. Just as negative thoughts can build a life of fear, limitation, and emotional pain, positive and constructive thoughts can build a life of purpose, confidence, and emotional resilience. The key difference lies in awareness. When we become aware of the nature of our thoughts, we gain the ability to change them, and by changing our thoughts, we begin to shift our life experiences. Thoughts are not just fleeting mental noise. They are energy, and that energy influences the emotional state of the individual. A constant stream of self-critical or anxious thoughts sends signals to the nervous system that the body is under threat. This triggers the stress response, tight muscles, increased heart rate, shallow breathing, and suppressed immune function. On the other hand, thoughts rooted in calm, appreciation, and self-trust activate the body's relaxation response. In this way, thought is not separate from the body. It is a driver of biological processes. This is why it's crucial to monitor the content of our thoughts, especially the recurring ones. What kind of mental conversations are you having with yourself on a daily basis? Are they encouraging or discouraging? Do they push you toward growth, or do they keep you stuck in a cycle of fear and doubt? If your inner voice is constantly criticizing you, then you're living in an environment of internal hostility, even if the external world appears calm. Over time, this dissonance can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical illness. Becoming mindful of your thoughts is the first step. Once awareness is in place, the next step is to gently challenge those thoughts that no longer serve you. This isn't about pretending that everything is perfect or blindly repeating affirmations without meaning. It's about learning to speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you care deeply about. You begin to replace "I can't do this" with "I'm still learning, and that's okay." Instead of "I always mess up," you try "Sometimes I make mistakes, but I grow from them." These changes might seem small at first, but repeated often enough, they build new mental pathways. The brain, through a process called neuroplasticity, actually rewires itself in response to repeated thought patterns. The most empowering realization is this: you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes them. This means you are not trapped by your past conditioning or your current mindset. You have the ability to observe your thoughts, question them, and choose different ones. That is true freedom. You can shift from being a victim of your thoughts to being the creator of them. When you begin to take this process seriously, when you intentionally nurture thoughts that support your well-being, you start to feel the difference in every area of life. Your energy changes, your confidence increases, relationships improve, opportunities begin to appear because your mind is no longer filtering the world through fear or limitation. Instead, it is open, curious, and willing. In summary, thoughts are not trivial. They are not something that simply pass through your mind without consequence. They are formative forces that influence who you become and what kind of life you experience. Recognizing the power of your thoughts is the first and most crucial step toward living a conscious, empowered life. When you learn to master your inner dialogue, everything else begins to align with that mastery. Affirmations are simple, positive statements that we repeat to ourselves with the intention of influencing our subconscious mind. While the concept might seem straightforward, affirmations are a powerful tool rooted in psychological and neurological principles that can transform the way we think, feel, and ultimately live. To understand their effectiveness, it's important to explore how affirmations work, why repetition matters, and how they impact the brain's functioning. At the core, affirmations are a way to communicate directly with the subconscious mind. Our subconscious is the part of our mind responsible for habits, automatic reactions, and deeply held beliefs, most of which are formed early in life or through repeated experiences. It governs much of our behavior without conscious thought. When we use affirmations, we are essentially planting seeds of new beliefs in this part of the mind. Over time, these seeds can grow and replace old, limiting beliefs that have held us back. The power of affirmations lies in repetition. Much like learning any new skill, repeated practice strengthens new neural connections in the brain. This process is known as neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural pathways throughout life. When you consistently repeat a positive statement, such as "I am capable and confident," your brain starts to accept this as a new truth, gradually overriding previously negative or limiting beliefs like "I am not good enough" or "I can't succeed." This rewiring changes your internal dialogue and creates a new mental framework for how you view yourself and the world. It's important to note that affirmations are not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. Rather, they serve as tools to guide your focus toward what you want to cultivate in your life. They act as mental cues that encourage your brain to seek out opportunities, resources, and actions aligned with these positive statements. For example, affirming "I am worthy of love and respect" helps you become more aware of relationships and behaviors that honor that worthiness while letting go of those that don't. To maximize the effectiveness of affirmations, they should be phrased in the present tense, as if the statement is already true. Saying "I am healthy" or "I am successful" affirms the reality you wish to embody, rather than "I will be healthy" or "I want to be successful," which keeps the mind in a future, uncertain state. Present tense affirmations help the subconscious mind accept these ideas as current facts, speeding up the process of internal acceptance. Consistency is another key factor. Affirmations need to be repeated regularly, daily if possible. Many find it helpful to say affirmations aloud each morning or write them down as part of a journaling practice. The more often you repeat these statements, the more your brain accepts them, gradually replacing negative self-talk with empowering narratives. Another important aspect is emotional engagement. Simply repeating words without feeling or belief can limit the power of affirmations. When you connect emotionally with the words, you enhance their impact. For example, feeling gratitude while affirming "I am grateful for my growing confidence" deepens the imprint on your subconscious. Emotions serve as the glue that helps embed these affirmations into your neural architecture. Affirmations also encourage a shift in focus. Human attention is limited and highly selective. What you focus on expands. If your thoughts are consumed by worries or self-doubt, you are effectively training your brain to find evidence that supports these feelings. Affirmations redirect your attention toward positive outcomes and possibilities, breaking the cycle of negative thought patterns. In addition to self-directed affirmations, they can be used in social contexts or group settings to foster collective positivity and motivation. People who practice affirmations together often experience a sense of shared purpose and support, which enhances individual commitment to personal growth. However, it's natural to encounter resistance when starting an affirmation practice. This resistance often comes from deeply ingrained beliefs that contradict the affirmations. For instance, if you affirm, "I am confident," but secretly believe you are not, your subconscious mind may reject the statement at first. This is a normal part of the process and should not discourage you. With patience and repetition, even these limiting beliefs can be transformed. Finally, affirmations work best as part of a broader mindset and lifestyle change. They are not a magic pill, but a foundational practice that supports self-awareness, self-love, and positive action. When combined with reflection, healthy habits, and goal setting, affirmations create a powerful framework for personal transformation. In conclusion, affirmations are more than just positive words. They are practical tools backed by science and psychology that help reprogram the subconscious mind. Through consistent repetition, emotional engagement, and present tense phrasing, affirmations can replace limiting beliefs with empowering truths, leading to greater confidence, resilience, and success. By consciously choosing what we tell ourselves, we shape our reality from the inside out. Self-love is often talked about as a buzzword in personal development, but its true meaning and importance run far deeper than a simple catchphrase. At its core, self-love is the unconditional acceptance and appreciation of oneself. It means recognizing your intrinsic worth regardless of external achievements, flaws, or mistakes. Developing self-love is foundational because it sets the tone for every aspect of personal growth, healing, and fulfillment. Without it, attempts at change or improvement can feel hollow or unsustainable. One reason self-love is so essential is because it directly influences how we relate to ourselves on a daily basis. Many people experience harsh internal criticism, judgment, or self-doubt that limits their potential. When you lack self-love, your mind becomes a hostile environment where mistakes are punished excessively and successes are minimized. This internal environment reinforces feelings of inadequacy and fuels a cycle of low self-esteem. On the other hand, when you cultivate genuine self-love, your internal dialogue shifts from criticism to compassion, encouraging growth and resilience. Self-love creates a foundation of emotional safety. It allows you to acknowledge your vulnerabilities and imperfections without shame or fear. This acceptance is vital because no person is perfect. Everyone has struggles, makes errors, and faces challenges. Self-love gives you permission to be human. It teaches that your value is not tied to how well you perform or how others perceive you, but to your very existence. This perspective frees you from the constant need for external validation and empowers you to make choices based on what truly nurtures your well-being. When self-love is established, it becomes easier to set healthy boundaries. Boundaries are limits we set to protect our energy and emotional health. Without self-love, it's common to tolerate unhealthy relationships, overwork, or neglect personal needs because of guilt or fear of rejection. Loving yourself means prioritizing your own well-being and recognizing that saying no is not selfish, it is necessary. Boundaries create respect, balance, and space for growth. Self-love also affects your ability to forgive, both yourself and others. When you love yourself, you can acknowledge mistakes without harsh judgment. You understand that errors are opportunities for learning rather than reasons for punishment. This attitude fosters self-compassion, which is critical for healing emotional wounds and moving forward. Additionally, when you love yourself, you are less likely to hold onto resentment or bitterness toward others, because you recognize that carrying such feelings only harms your own peace of mind. Moreover, self-love strengthens resilience. Life is inevitably filled with setbacks, disappointments, and challenges. Without a strong foundation of self-love, it's easy to become overwhelmed, discouraged, or stuck in negative patterns. But when you cultivate self-love, you build inner strength and patience. You learn to treat yourself with kindness during difficult times, which helps you recover faster and maintain motivation. This resilience is not about avoiding hardship, but about having a supportive inner ally who encourages you to keep going. Another important aspect is how self-love influences external relationships. When you value yourself, you naturally attract people who treat you with respect and kindness. Conversely, a lack of self-love can lead to attracting or tolerating toxic relationships because of unconscious beliefs that you are unworthy of better treatment. Self-love empowers you to choose relationships that uplift and support your growth rather than drain or diminish you. Developing self-love is not always easy. For many, it requires unlearning deeply ingrained habits of self-criticism or cultural messages that equate self-worth with productivity, appearance, or success. It often means confronting past wounds or negative experiences that have shaped your self-perception. But the good news is that self-love is a skill that can be cultivated through intentional practice. Some effective ways to build self-love include practicing self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a good friend, and engaging in regular self-care activities that honor your physical, emotional, and mental needs. Mindfulness and meditation can also help by increasing awareness of negative self-talk and creating space to choose more supportive thoughts. Journaling about your strengths, achievements, and things you appreciate about yourself can reinforce positive self-perception. In conclusion, self-love is not a luxury. It is the foundation upon which all meaningful personal transformation is built. It provides emotional safety, resilience, healthy boundaries, and positive relationships. Without it, other efforts at growth can falter or feel unfulfilling. By learning to truly accept and appreciate yourself, you open the door to a richer, more empowered, and joyful life experience. Healing the inner child is a concept that invites us to explore the roots of many of our emotional patterns and unresolved issues. The inner child represents the part of ourselves that holds memories, feelings, and experiences from childhood, especially those moments when we felt vulnerable, misunderstood, or hurt. Understanding and healing this inner child is essential for emotional freedom and personal growth, because many of our limiting beliefs and emotional wounds originate from early life. During childhood, our minds are especially impressionable. We absorb the world around us with great sensitivity, often without the ability to fully understand or process complex emotions or experiences. When a child feels neglected, criticized, or rejected, these feelings can become buried but not erased. Instead, they form a foundation for future emotional responses. For example, a child who experienced repeated criticism might grow up with a persistent fear of failure or a belief that they are not lovable. These patterns tend to play out unconsciously in adulthood, influencing relationships, self-esteem, and decision-making. The process of healing the inner child begins with awareness. Many adults go through life unaware that a significant part of their emotional challenges stems from unresolved childhood pain. By learning to recognize when current emotional reactions are disproportionate or seem to echo past wounds, we can begin to identify the influence of the inner child. For instance, feeling intense rejection from a minor criticism in adulthood may indicate an inner child's unhealed fear of abandonment. Once awareness is established, the next step is to connect with the inner child compassionately. This means creating a safe, nurturing mental space where the wounded child inside can be acknowledged, heard, and comforted. This may involve visualization exercises where you imagine holding and reassuring your younger self, or journaling letters to and from your inner child. Such practices allow you to bridge the gap between your adult self and your childhood experiences, fostering understanding and acceptance. Healing the inner child is not about blaming parents or caregivers, but about taking responsibility for your own healing. It involves rewriting the narrative that your inner child carries from one of pain and limitation to one of safety and possibility. This transformative process can break long-standing emotional patterns that cause anxiety, depression, or difficulty in relationships. One powerful aspect of this healing is learning to provide to yourself what you may have missed as a child: unconditional love, validation, and protection. Often, unmet childhood needs manifest in adulthood as a craving for approval or a fear of rejection. By consciously offering these nurturing qualities to your inner child, you reduce the power of old wounds and build emotional resilience. Another important part of healing the inner child is forgiving not only others who may have caused pain, but also yourself. Many people carry shame or guilt rooted in childhood experiences. Forgiveness helps release these burdens and opens the door to self-compassion. It reminds us that we all deserve kindness and understanding, regardless of past hurts or mistakes. Healing the inner child also improves your capacity for authentic relationships. When unresolved childhood wounds influence adult interactions, you might find yourself repeating patterns such as codependency, fear of intimacy, or avoidance of vulnerability. By attending to the inner child, you can recognize these patterns and choose healthier ways of relating, building deeper connections based on trust and honesty. It is important to realize that healing the inner child is often a gradual, ongoing journey rather than a one-time event. It requires patience, self-compassion, and sometimes professional support such as therapy or counseling. Inner child work may bring up difficult emotions, but it also leads to profound growth and freedom. In practical terms, incorporating inner child healing into daily life can involve practices like mindfulness, creative expression such as art or writing, and nurturing activities that honor your needs and desires. These actions reinforce the message that you are worthy of love and care, both from others and from yourself. In summary, healing the inner child means reconnecting with the vulnerable part of yourself that holds your earliest experiences and emotions. Through awareness, compassion, and intentional nurturing, you can transform old wounds into sources of strength and healing. This process not only liberates you from limiting emotional patterns, but also lays the foundation for greater self-acceptance, emotional balance, and fulfilling relationships. By embracing and healing the inner child, you move closer to living a life of wholeness and joy. Letting go of the past is one of the most challenging yet liberating steps in the journey toward emotional well-being and personal growth. Many people carry the weight of past experiences, mistakes, regrets, or traumas far longer than necessary, and these burdens can profoundly affect their present lives. Understanding why letting go is essential, how the past influences the present, and practical methods for release can empower anyone to create a more fulfilling and peaceful existence. The past shapes us. Our memories, experiences, and learned beliefs build the foundation of our identity. However, clinging to past events, especially painful ones, can trap us in cycles of negative emotions such as anger, guilt, sadness, or resentment. These emotions often act like anchors that keep us tethered to old stories and limit our ability to fully engage with the present moment. When the past dominates our thoughts and feelings, it can create a distorted view of reality that hinders growth and happiness. One of the key reasons people find it difficult to let go of the past is attachment to identity. For many, their personal history, particularly the hardships they endured, becomes intertwined with how they define themselves. They may feel that their pain or struggles are a core part of who they are, making the idea of release feel like losing a part of themselves. This attachment can keep emotional wounds open and prevent healing. Another common barrier to letting go is fear. Fear of change, fear of the unknown, or fear of vulnerability. Holding on to familiar pain can feel safer than stepping into uncertainty. The mind often prefers the predictability of known suffering over the risk of unfamiliar emotions. Yet, this safety is an illusion that ultimately restricts freedom and joy. Letting go does not mean forgetting or denying the past. It means accepting that what has happened cannot be changed, and choosing not to allow those events to control your present or future. Acceptance is the foundation of release. By acknowledging your past experiences without judgment, you reduce their emotional charge and create space for healing. Forgiveness plays a significant role in this process, both forgiveness of others and forgiveness of oneself. Holding grudges or self-blame keeps wounds fresh and maintains a cycle of pain. Forgiveness is a conscious decision to free yourself from the grip of past hurts, regardless of whether the other party has changed or apologized. It is about reclaiming your own peace and power, rather than condoning harmful behavior. Practical strategies for letting go include mindfulness practices, such as meditation and deep breathing, which help anchor attention in the present moment. By focusing on the here and now, you reduce rumination on past events. Journaling can also be a valuable tool. Writing about your experiences and emotions allows for expression and clarity, helping to process and release stuck feelings. Therapeutic techniques like cognitive, behavioral therapy (CBT) or trauma informed therapy provide structured methods to reframe past experiences and develop healthier coping mechanisms. These approaches help individuals challenge distorted beliefs rooted in the past and cultivate new perspectives that support well-being. Visualization exercises can assist as well. Imagining yourself placing your past in a container or setting it down gently can create a symbolic gesture of release. Repeating affirmations focused on freedom and renewal supports the mental shift from attachment to liberation. It's important to recognize that letting go is not a linear process. Emotions may resurface unexpectedly, and setbacks are normal. Compassion toward yourself during these moments is crucial. Healing takes time, and patience allows space for gradual transformation. As you learn to release the past, you open up energy and mental space for new experiences, relationships, and growth. You gain the ability to respond to life's challenges with greater resilience and clarity. Letting go helps break the chains of old patterns and enables you to live more fully and authentically. In conclusion, letting go of the past is an essential part of emotional health and personal empowerment. By understanding the reasons behind attachment, embracing acceptance, practicing forgiveness, and utilizing practical tools, you can free yourself from the weight of old stories and step into a life defined by presence, peace, and possibility. The past is a teacher, not a prison. When you release it, you reclaim your power to create a better future. Gratitude is a simple yet profoundly transformative practice that can shift our entire outlook on life. At its core, gratitude involves consciously recognizing and appreciating the positive aspects of our lives, whether they are big or small, external or internal. While it might sound like a basic concept, cultivating gratitude has been shown through scientific research to improve mental health, emotional resilience, and even physical well-being. Understanding the mechanisms behind gratitude and how to integrate it into daily life offers a valuable tool for personal growth and happiness. One of the most significant effects of practicing gratitude is its ability to rewire the brain. Neuroscientific studies reveal that when people regularly focus on what they are thankful for, the brain's reward system is activated, releasing neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin that enhance mood and feelings of well-being. This process helps to create a positive feedback loop, encouraging more frequent experiences of happiness and contentment. Gratitude also helps counteract the brain's natural negativity bias. Evolutionarily, humans are wired to pay more attention to threats and negative experiences as a survival mechanism. While this bias was once useful in modern life, it can lead to excessive worry, stress, and dissatisfaction. By intentionally practicing gratitude, we train our minds to balance this negativity bias by giving greater attention to positive experiences, which can improve overall mental health. In addition to neurological benefits, gratitude has important social effects. Expressing gratitude strengthens relationships by fostering feelings of connection, trust, and mutual respect. When we acknowledge the kindness of others or appreciate their contributions, it creates a positive dynamic that encourages further generosity and support. This social reinforcement builds a network of emotional support, which is crucial for coping with life's challenges. Gratitude also plays a key role in enhancing resilience. Life inevitably brings difficulties, setbacks, and pain. Those who cultivate gratitude tend to bounce back from adversity more quickly because they maintain a broader perspective that includes recognition of what remains good and meaningful despite hardship. Gratitude helps people to find silver linings and maintain hope, which fuels motivation and perseverance. Practicing gratitude can take many forms, and flexibility is one of its strengths. Some individuals keep gratitude journals, writing down 3 to 5 things they are grateful for each day. This regular habit helps shift focus away from negative ruminations and reinforces a positive mindset. Others incorporate gratitude into meditation or prayer, using the practice as a moment of reflection and grounding. Simply making a habit of verbally expressing thanks, whether to yourself, others, or life itself, can deepen feelings of appreciation. Importantly, gratitude is not about ignoring or denying negative emotions or difficulties. Rather, it is about recognizing that even in the midst of struggle, there are aspects of life that bring joy, learning, or comfort. This balanced awareness is what makes gratitude a healthy and realistic practice. It encourages acceptance and presence rather than escapism. Research has also highlighted the connection between gratitude and physical health. People who practice gratitude report better sleep, lower blood pressure, and stronger immune systems. These benefits likely arise because gratitude reduces stress and promotes relaxation, both of which have positive effects on bodily functions. Integrating gratitude into daily life may require conscious effort at first, especially for those who are accustomed to focusing on problems or hardships. Developing the habit involves setting reminders, being intentional about noticing positive details, and sometimes shifting perspective to find things to appreciate even in challenging situations. Over time, gratitude can become an automatic part of one's thinking process, fundamentally altering the way experiences are interpreted. In educational settings or personal development programs, gratitude is often introduced as a foundational practice because it supports emotional regulation, social skills, and overall well-being. Teaching individuals to recognize and express gratitude can lead to improved classroom environments, workplace morale, and interpersonal relationships. In summary, gratitude is a powerful practice with profound psychological, social, and physical benefits. By consciously appreciating the positive aspects of life, we retrain our brains to experience more joy and resilience, strengthen our social bonds, and enhance overall health. Far from being a superficial or fleeting feeling, gratitude is a skill that can be cultivated and expanded, leading to a richer and more fulfilling life. Embracing gratitude invites us to see the world with greater clarity and kindness, transforming ordinary moments into sources of deep contentment.